Hello, everybody. Good morning. How are you? So, I did a community post yesterday and I told you guys that I got a wonderful gift courtesy of Tragically Delicious, one of the subs on my channel. Tragically Delicious sent me 28 new tarot decks, and I am absolutely thrilled to have them. And I would like to say a very special thank you to Tragically Delicious. I have all the decks with me and I haven't gone through them all yet. I have yet to use them. I would like to cleanse them all first before I use them in tarot readings. I won't be able to really do that thoroughly until the next few days due to the fact there are so many decks, and I would like to do the cleansing outside with the sage smoke because, as you guys know, I live in a camper trailer, and if I use the smoke in my camper trailer, it's going to smoke out the entire place, which would mean that my space is clean, but it's just going to be too much smoke. So I want to do it outside, and there won't be really good weather for that until the next 3 days have passed. It's going to be rainy, it's going to be cold, so I'll do it then. But until then, I wanted to show everyone the new decks, and maybe if you're someone you're thinking about getting a tarot deck, this might give you some good ideas about what decks you might like. Maybe some of the decks that I show you might want to get for yourselves. So it's going to be a mixture of both regular tarot and oracle cards. I've spoken on the oracle cards. Like, what are oracle cards? Well, oracle cards, they can give insight to insight. They can give more detailed message for the messages coming through. So this video is not going to be short. There's no possible way with 28 decks. I have to be careful as well because a couple of the decks that I received were more of an adult nature, some nudity and adult themes. And believe it or not, on YouTube, you can get in trouble for doing a tarot reading or doing a tarot review on cards that have adult themes and show too much nudity. Yeah, that's actually a thing. I didn't know that was a thing, but with YouTube, if you show any kind of adult image with severe nudity, they're going to have a problem with it. So I thought we'd start out by showing off the books because I got a lot of books to go with the tarot decks. Because sometimes you can get tarot decks that have bags with them, books with them to further explain. So I got a mixture of different books as well. So this is the book for the Chakra Wisdom Tarot Guidebook. This is by Tori Hartman. So for anybody who might want the deck, you might find it on eBay or Amazon or Etsy. This is what the book looks like, and this is the author of the deck, Tori Hartman. Then we also have the Osho Zen Tarot. Like I've looked at these cards last night, and they're really, really colorful, really, really beautiful cards. We also have the medicine cards. I'm really thrilled to get these medicine cards. So there is a set of tarot cards that have the Native American theme to them. Then we also have the Dreams of Gaia tarot by, is it Rayan Filan? I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the last name, but Rayan Filan, Dreams of Gaia tarot. We have the Fairy Tarot cards by Radley Valentine. As you can see, that's absolutely beautiful deck. Just the illustrations alone are just jaw-dropping. And the Oracle of the Dragon Fae by Lucy Cavendish. So these are the books that came with some of the decks. As you can see, I got a lot of studying to do. Between those books and the books that came, the little books that came with some of these decks, I mean, I got a lot of studying to do. And I was thinking about it last night, and I think the smartest thing to do is, because there are so many new decks, just focus on, say, a handful at a time, the ones that are calling to me the strongest. Focus on those cards, work with those cards, and then just work my way through the pile of them. So let's start with this one. What is this deck? This is the Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg. All right, and here's what they look like. They're very old world. Get the Queen of Cups. You get the Ace of Cups. So these are regular tarot. Page of Cups, they have a very old world feel to them. And I'm feeling a sense of masculine energy with these cards already. You know, some cards, they're more feminine in nature and have more of a feminine energy. Some are more of like a masculine energy. I'm really enjoying the fact that I've got so many tarot decks. And until I got the whole lot of them, I just was never aware that different tarot, each deck has its own voice. And each of them speak to you differently, and they can give the different messages. And that's why it's great to have so many different decks, because you just never know what deck is going to call to you and why. So there's like some illustrations there. The Five of Cups. You got the Seven of Coins. Again, like I said, very, like the words that come to mind are very, very old world. I'm not quite sure what readings this would be appropriate for. I mean, regular readings would be fine, but I mean, I'm looking forward to working with this deck. So for those who are wondering, how do the cards feel? Well, they're not. The deck itself is not too terribly big. As you guys can see, I've got very small hands. Oversized cards could sometimes be a problem for me because of my smaller hands. For those of you that are getting tarot decks, it's good to take in consideration the size of the cards, like the materials used in them, because as I've mentioned, I do have a deck that I love the illustrations on it. They're like the hot pink cards. Love them to death. But the problem is that they're really slippery and really flimsy and hard to hold on to. So I love the deck, but I have yet to figure out how to use the deck and hold on to them at the same time. Okay, let's move on to an oracle card deck. And see, so you guys can look at it. The Messages of Love Tarot Oracle cards. Now, I'm not quite sure who made these, but I am showing them to you so you get a good look at what they look like. So if you're on Etsy or anything like that and you happen to see these, you'll know what they look like. So like, as you can see, an oracle card is definitely different from a regular tarot card. So you've got retreat, time alone, or nature will help you recharge, put away the computer. I love these cards. I think this is one of the decks that I'm going to be working with first. And like, there's so many, but like certain ones are saying, you know, you should work with us first because we're going to help you do things first. So awakening, someone is undergoing a spiritual transformation. You have rejection. The rejection is actually divine protection, forgiveness. So each card has a different message to it. And again, I love the illustration that came with it. That's such a classy move. Obsession, balance. So you can see how oracle decks, they can give like the more specified messages. So if you're getting a regular tarot reading and you're wanting to go deeper, you're wanting to go a little bit deeper, a little bit more insight. If you're doing the tarot and you're getting the call to an oracle deck to pick it up, it might be because there's another message that might want to come through, but regular tarot just can't do it. I'm looking forward to doing lots of free tarot readings on my channel for people because someone gave to me, so I want to give back. You know, I do. I want to give back. I think it's only fair. I think it's only right. When the universe gives you something, it's only in good balance to do things in return. And given all these different tarot decks, there could be many different situations. So this is the, I believe this one is connected to the book that I showed you, one of the books. As you can see, this deck is a really big deck. It's thick. Look how thick that is. And I got tiny hands. Like, this is twice the thickness of a regular tarot deck. The cards are much more stiff. They're glossy but stiff, and I appreciate that, because the plastic decks that are really flimsy, they just slip right through your fingers. So look at the beautiful illustrations here. This is a Fae deck. You got the 5 of Spring, oppressing gods, arising from different opinions, feeling at odds with yourself or others, overly ambitious people. So whoever made these cards, like, they really took the time to put some of this stuff together. You've got the moon. Oh, I love that illustration. That is gorgeous. Gorgeous. Balance. And I'm staying on the lookout for any cards that might be adult in nature. Don't hit me, YouTube. 2 of Spring. Queen of Autumn. The 8 of Spring. So loving this Fae deck already. I have another friend of mine who is in New Mexico. They said a while back they wanted to send me another 20 cards, 20 decks. Most of those decks will be Fae. I've never worked with a Fae deck ever, but I'm open to new things as a tarot reader, like just going in different directions that I've never gone in before, using different themed decks. Embrace your true purpose. So what do you think? This is an absolutely stunning deck. Stunning. The 8 of Winter. I just love the look of all these cards. Like, whoever made this deck, they really put some time in with this deck. They considered the illustrations themselves, the ease as far as doing the shuffling. Although, like, I've got small fingers, so because this deck is so stiff, because it is so big, I got to do a workout with my hands just to use it. But hey, I'm up for the challenge. Okay, next one. What we got here? I got all my decks right next to me. And by the way, like, what was really cool with the box is a lot of the cards came in little bags like this. So a lot of people were asking in the comments, when you get a tarot deck, like, how do you store them? You can get a tarot box. You can put them in a little bag or pouch like this. They could be made out of mesh or regular cloth or velvet. You can actually make your own if you're not happy with the things you see online. I mean, it's really quite simple, but something like this helps for protection. So a lot of the bags came with these little mesh bags, and Booker had a good time this morning trying to play with the strings, cat life. So yeah, I thought that was a wonderful addition to the box. Tragically Delicious. That not only did you send me the decks, but you gave me so many bags to put them in. It helps for the storage and to keep them safe. So I'm just trying to open this bag, and it's not letting me. Sometimes drawstring bags can be a pain in the butt. Hold on, I'm trying to work this out. This deck does not want to come out. Oh, that's because I hold on to a string. My bad. All right, so these would be oracle cards, and I love the old vintage romance feel to them. So as you guys can see, like, the difference between the oracle cards and the regular tarot. They have the more specialized messages. You have like romantic feelings. You've got passion. This oracle deck might be applied to, say, a reading about love or relationships or wanting of relationships. I got to be careful because some of these decks have cards with like naughty images, so I'm on the lookout for them. Worth waiting for. Forgiveness and learning. I mean, I'm really loving, like, I already like this deck. The way it feels in my hand, between my fingers. The cards themselves have a bit of stiffness to them. They're plastic, but Not flimsy, cheap plastic. And the illustrations are gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the romantic feel of them. Retreat. Soulmate. Oh, what a lovely picture. Not quite sure who made this particular deck. I'm going to do my homework, see if I can find out. But it's a rather small deck. You know, as you can see, it's really thin. So if you're someone and you're like, I don't want like a big, huge, thick deck that I would have a problem hanging on to, if you want a set of oracle cards, like they are the size of a deck of playing cards, that might be good for you. All right, so what are these cards? Oh, these are the Native American cards, and they're huge. Absolutely huge. That's going to take some getting used to. So this is what the back of them looks like. They're very glossy, very shiny, very, very stiff, but like the size of the cards are just enormous. Look, it's just trying to hold on to them. But what do some of the cards look like? Well, we have different spirit animals like the opossum. We have the eagle, the lynx, and I'm sure that these different animals have different meanings or connotations. The buffalo. You've got the alligator, jaguar, otter. There's just all different kinds of creatures here. The wild boar. I've never worked with a Native American tarot deck before, so this is definitely going to be interesting and can add another layer to the tarot readings. You know, the ant. So that's just a preview of the Native American deck. And it's like I said, it's a huge. This deck in particular is huge. It's so long, and the cards are stiff. So for those that are wanting that deck, it might take some getting used to, because they're not the standard size of regular tarot cards. Okay, I got to stack everything carefully up next to me. Okay, so looking around, I'm just making sure I don't grab the tarot deck that has the naughty no-no pictures. I don't even know where they are anymore. All right. So what is this one? Okay. And I love the look of these cards. This might be the Osho deck that has to do with the book that I just showed you. Excuse me for a second. So let's just go over it. So that's the thickness. This is the thickness of the deck for those that are wondering. You've got turning in, schizophrenia, the lovers, going with the flow. These feel like more oracle cards because they have the individual messages, but I love the illustrations. Absolutely love them. Creativity. You got Thunderbolt, understanding, completion. I'm loving the creativity with the illustrations. It's like the different imagery just brings something to mind. The creator, healing, ordinariness, healing. Oh, this is an interesting one. Nothingness. That could be a message that goes so many different ways. Intensity. I mean, absolutely gorgeous deck. There's so many of the decks that I've ever seen that are just, the pictures are just jaw-dropping. So as in terms of how flimsy they are, or like how easy they are to shuffle, this would be, this one is like mid-grade. I mean, as far as being stiff, it's in the middle of the road. Like I'm sitting here shuffling them right now, handling them. The cards, because they're plastic, they have the plastic backing. They are a little bit slippery. I don't know if anything can be done to fix that, but they're flexible enough where you can definitely shuffle them. You got to be careful though. You got to be careful because the cards are not that thick. So if you're someone and you're a first time tarot reader, you want something that's easy to handle. Okay, let me just put these back in the bag. I'm just trying to put them somewhere where they won't get damaged. All right, so here's another one. Let me just get this one out. Getting it out of the bag. So this is the Indigo Angel Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue and Charles Virtue. So like this deck came with a book, which is great. It's always nice to get a tarot deck or oracle deck and you're like, what do these cards mean? Well, that's what the book is there to tell you. It's there to help you out. So this has to do with angelic energy, stay, release, relax, time to create, make a wish, you are loved, self-care, explore. I'm absolutely loving the variety of messages on each of the cards. They're all different. I love that. They're all different. You are special. Divine timing. Expression. I mean, I could just keep going. And I would show you guys the full, go through each and every card with these decks, but there's just so many decks that I don't want to make a 3-hour video. I just want to give you guys an idea, like what do the decks look like, how big they are, if they are decks that maybe you might be interested in, you want to buy them. These cards are a bit wider than normal, but they are stiff. I can see them being easier to shuffle than most as far as the stiffness of the cards. They're easier to hang on to. One moment, let me just put them back in the bag along with the book, and I'll move on to the next deck. Okay. Let me just put these behind me. Reaching into the box. Okay. And here's the next deck. It's called the Divine Animal Oracle Cards by Sean D. Gibson. So there's a little booklet that comes with it, guidebook. And ooh, I'm oohing because I'm looking at the cards, because bonus, not only are they beautiful cards, but if you're someone you want to use them, they have the meanings printed right on them. So if a Phoenix card, faith, transition, spiritual awareness, you are being guided to remove what no longer serves from your life. Turn your ideas into action and they will transcend beyond your expectations. As you detach, doors of opportunity will begin to open and something magnificent will emerge. So you don't really have to memorize the book. You can just do the cards and get insight this way. You get the polar bear. You have the elk, the blue jay, the cougar, cheetah, and the cards are, I would say they're medium stiffness, which is right where they really need to be. Cards should be, in my opinion, a little bit on the stiff side to make for easier shuffling. They shouldn't be too stiff to where you have a hard time shuffling, nor too big to where it's impossible to shuffle. And if they're made out of this plastic material, once the card is made like that, there's nothing you can do to fix them if they're slippery. There's nothing you can really put on them. So here's what the back of the cards look like. But absolutely beautiful deck. And these would be considered oracle cards because that's what they say they are. So we're moving on to the next deck here in a second. And maybe I hope I'm giving you guys some ideas that if you're looking to get new tarot decks that you might want to get for yourselves. Maybe you're taking a look at some of these decks and saying, I think I like those decks. Maybe I want one for me. All right. So like what is this one? This is interesting. This is called the Unicorn Tarot. This is the Unicorn Tarot. So we'll just put that here. And again, we got a very old world feel with some of these cards. So anybody out there, you have to like unicorns, you might like these cards. These are like regular tarot cards. They have all the different suits and major and minor arcana. The Queen of Rods. You know, and if you do different tarot, like different suits may be called different things, like the Queen of Wands. In this particular tarot, called the Queen of Rods. Queen of Rods. They got King of Rods. You got the Six of Swords. Like you got the World. Oh, that was naughty. Not I didn't notice that. Oops. Justice. You got the Justice card. The Empress. So I'm going to have to work with this deck. It's not calling to me as much as some of the other decks call to me. Like this might be one that I work with a little bit later, but there are other decks I'm going to show you that I'm like, yes, I'm zeroing in on that one. The Oracle cards I showed you earlier, like the message cards with the pink flowers on them, definitely calling to me right now. Definitely doing it. Okay, now this is an interesting deck. This next deck that I'm about to show you, if I were to go to a tarot shop and I saw this deck, just because it has a certain theme to it, I might pass right by it. You know, it wouldn't be my first choice. So this deck is called the Golden Girls Tarot. So for anybody who watches TV, y'all remember the old TV show Golden Girls. So basically it's tarot with the Golden Girls theme. Got the Hermit card, the Seven of Wands. If I went to a tarot shop and I saw this deck, I would pass right by it. But you know what? That's ignorant of me. Because sometimes the deck that doesn't immediately call to you might be the one that gives you the most messages. And you just don't know. That really oddball deck that you would never consider might be the one that helps you out the most as far as helping other people and giving insight. You know, every tarot deck has a different voice. So when I got this deck and I was looking at it last night, and I kept thinking, what could I use this particular deck for? Well, this could be a deck that I would use for, say, somebody who's a little bit older. You know, like there's all different kinds of applications you can use for a themed deck. And I really like it. Now, if I saw it online without touching it, without really looking at it, I might pass it up. But now that I have it in my hand, you know, I'm like, you know what? This is a deck that's really growing on me quickly. So that is the Golden Girl Tarot deck, and here's what the back looks like. So like I'm having fun exploring different avenues of reading the tarot, the different pathways, the different streets that are available. You know, it's opening up my mind and my spirit to, you know, like think outside the box. You know, think beyond the regular Rider-Waite deck. And there's nothing wrong with a Rider-Waite deck, but if you open up your mind, you open up your spirit to different decks and different voices, it just makes your readings better. And the messages will come through a lot better. So reaching in, they got this tarot is called Tarot of 1,001 Nights. This next one. And I'll show you two in just a second. I'm taking it out of the bag. So a Tarot of 1,001 Nights. For those who might be interested in it. And this deck is definitely got the old world feel to it. You got the wands, very Renaissance looking deck, very like a Renaissance period The illustrations are beautiful. It's about the size and thickness of a regular tarot deck. So the cards are not too big. I'm going to be doing specialized reviews on each of these decks. I'm just giving you guys a preview of what decks I have because some of you were really curious. And I'm going to be honest, at this point in time, this deck really isn't calling to me strongly. But I've just got them yesterday, so. But they're beautiful cards. They're just not calling to me. And I'm going to keep the cards. And if there is a deck that I've received that, they're sending me the message, we like you, but we're not really meant to be with you, I will do what was done to me. I will find someone that maybe the cards are calling to them, and I will send the cards that person's way. Because that's only right. It's Tragically Delicious had these cards, all of them, and said that the cards that I was sent weren't really calling to them. So they passed them on to me. So if I get the cards and the cards are clearly giving me the message that they're not meant for me, then it's only right to send them to their proper home, wherever that may be. So you have The Goddess Tarot by Chris Walder. Oh, oops. Oh, hold on a minute. Well, I'll find it later. The Goddess Tarot. And let me just find some cards here. So these are a little bit bigger than normal tarot cards. Not too terribly big. They're a little bit more flimsy, as you can see. You can bend them like that, then they're a little bit flimsy, but not excessively so. You got the 9 of Swords. You got the 10 of Swords. What I love about these cards is the big writing. I have very bad eyesight. So any kind of text that's not really tiny helps me out a lot. You got the 10 of Swords, 3 of Staves, Yemaya. So I guess this deck has to do with many different goddesses through many different beliefs. You got the King of Pentacles. This is another one that might call to me later. It's the message that I'm getting from it is, we like you, but focus on us later. I'm just getting acquainted with all these decks. Some are saying, learn me right now and use me. Others are saying, it's okay if you walk away from me right now. You got plenty of time. You can pick me up later, or I might call to you later. And I'm fine with that. It's impossible to learn 28 different decks all at the same time. Some say, use me now, learn me now. Others are saying, you can wait. It's okay. I'll wait my turn. This deck really doesn't have a booklet to go with it, so I can't tell you what the name of it is, but look at these gorgeous cards. Beautiful. And as far as the thickness of the cards, like how stiff they are, they're pretty stiff. Let me try to, and they are thicker than a normal deck. They're about twice the thickness of a normal tarot deck. So if you got tiny hands, or you've never worked with tarot before, this might take some getting used to. They are a bit plasticky. So like your hands are going to have to get accustomed to them. But the beautiful illustrations, the 7 of Cups, King of Swords. So these are a regular tarot deck. They're not oracle cards. Like Knight of Swords. A lot of work went into making these cards. The 7 of Wands. Like I'm loving all the artwork here. Absolutely loving the artwork. Very, very colorful. 6 of Swords. 2 of Cups. The Star card. 7 of Coins. Ooh, loving the Justice card. Slay, Queen, slay. Beautiful. The 5 of Cups. So, like, I'm not quite sure who made these cards, but whoever you are that made them, well done. Well done. This might be a deck that it's not going to be at the back of the line as far as learning them later. This particular deck, I can see Spirit is telling me it'll be in the middle of the line, the absolute middle, that they can be worked with, they want to be worked with, but not right now. And this deck, this next one, this is one of the decks that they're going to the front of the line. Because the moment I saw them, like, yes, yes, please. Yes, all day. And once you see them, you'll understand why. So, Moonology, Oracle Cards Guidebook by Yasmin Boland. And it has to do with the moon. Hold your vision, fixed moon. Don't let pride get in the way. Full moon in Leo. Time to give rather than take, new moon in Virgo. Balance, spirituality, and practicality. Confidence is your key to success, new moon in Leo. Adjustments are required. Be bold and make the first move, cardinal moon. So obviously this has to do with the zodiac a little bit. It's time to release negativity, step out of your comfort zone. Personal issue reaches resolution. Gorgeous cards. And my spirit is saying, my spirit immediately connected to this deck of oracle cards. This is going to the absolute front of the line as far as learning and using them along with my regular Rider-Waite deck. So this is one of the decks that I connected with immediately. They just jumped out at me and said, hi, we've been waiting to hang out with you. So glad we could be here. And this is another oracle deck that it has to do with love. It's very romantic in nature. These might be cards best used for, say, readings that have to do with love or relationships. So the Love Compass Oracle, beautiful backing. And then you've got the individual messages. Embrace love. Make space for another and accept the connection for what it is. Embrace the new opportunities and blessings around you. Open your heart to accept and receive more love. Through embracing vulnerability, you will find strength. Then you've got soulmate. Take it slow. Have faith. So you've got all these loving messages to spirit that will come through using cards like this. And I love the rose theme for obvious reasons. And this is going to be another set of oracle cards along with the moon cards that they're going to the front of the line right away. Patience, conflict, because I can see them giving better insight to the Rider-Waite readings. Like as soon as I do a reading for somebody, pulling one of the oracle decks out and giving further readings, soul to soul connection. And this is a fairly small deck, fairly thin. So for those of you that you've got small hands, are they easy to handle? They are. The cards are thin. They do have a bit of the plastic backing, which is sometimes a problem, but they're stiff enough to where like they're easy to hold on to, especially, and it's especially helpful that the deck isn't thick. When a deck is too thick, your hand is just trying to hold on to them and shuffle, and it can get tough. I'm also considering the fact that when you do tarot, when you start using your cards over time, they get a bit more worn in, and that makes it easier to use them because they get broken. They're not brand new. They're not too slippery. So there's that. There's so many decks down here by my feet, but we're getting through them all. Yes, we are. Okay, this next deck is called the Royal Dark Tarot. Ooh. So, oh, wait. There's two booklets here, I guess. Oh, wait, what? Oh, that's in another language. Royal Dark Tarot. I believe this is one of the 3 decks that I don't know if I can use it because of the naughty cards. But I'm going to keep an eye on these cards just to make sure nothing naughty comes through. So we got the Royal Dark Tarot. For those that like the more dark gothic themes to card. Yep, that's the naughty deck. I'm looking down some of the cards. I'm like, I can't show that on YouTube. I'll show it anyway without the naughty cards. So we've got this card. Batons. Again, that could be in place of wands. I'm looking at these cards and making sure there's nothing naughty. There's a lot of naughty cards here. Chakras. As you can see, it's more of an adult theme. Much more adult. You know what? Okay, there's another one. I'm looking for the not naughty cards, like the YouTube friendly cards. The Emperor card. I'm not quite sure what I can use the naughty decks for. Maybe individual readings where there might be adult issues being addressed. I think so. I think that's where I could use them because I'm like, when I get adult themed cards, you know, YouTube obviously doesn't like them. I think they're fine, but YouTube may disagree. But just showing you guys some of the censored cards. But wonderful gothic themed graphics for those who might like that. I'm sorry I can't show you more of that deck, but it's just there's naughty cards involved. Can't do that. YouTube says, hey, don't you show that stuff here. And I'm like, okay, I understand your terms of service and I will obey. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get booped on the nose by YouTube. So we're going to have to leave those alone. All right, what else we got here? I'm looking down. Okay, that's another. There's another deck right here, that Tarot of Sexual Magic. For obvious reasons, I can't show that one because that's nothing but naughty cards. We're getting down to the last little bit. Okay, now this particular, it looks, I think it's oracle cards or message cards. They're a bit odd. They're a bit weird. They just have a weird feel to me. But you've got, like, they're little. Like, there's a lot of them, too. It's like, how am I going to hold on to these cards? Look. So you got Go Get It. And I don't know who made them. Are you thinking about me? Sometimes I wonder. I love you and I miss you, but I don't have time right now. Share your art. That's beautiful. So again, these are oracle cards. Raise your vibration. I want to hold you in my arms. My beloved. My love for you is stronger than ever. Say yes. I dream about you at night. I need more time before I can come to you. So that's just a sample of what's going on here. Because of the thickness of, there's so many cards and there's so little and they're so short. You got to be really careful with them. I'm sitting here playing with them right now. As far as them being how thick they are. Well, the fact that you can see how that would be. You really got to cup these cards to hold on to them and to shuffle them. I guess you're going to take your time shuffling. Oh, because what's going to happen is what just happened to me. They'll just go spilling on my lap. But I can see them being helpful with giving out messages to people. It's just, you got to be careful because the cards are glossy. They are stiff and they're short. You know, it's like they'll fall out of my hand. So you got to be careful with that. I'm putting them back in the pile behind me. Picking up another bag. And oh, this bag doesn't want to open. So sorry about that. Like the drawstring can sometimes be a bit of a problem that way. Come on now. Let the cards out. They want to say hi. Don't stop them. All right. Oh, now I really like these. I don't know. Again, I don't know who made them, but here's a preview of the back of them. What's the picture? Oh, I'm sorry. So there's like the not upside down picture. How pretty. And then you have the messages on the other side. Like, look at the space between the trees for answers. Music. There's a melody to be heard in the deepest parts of the woods, if only we listen. So this is more like a oracle that it's more nature based. Uh, thank you, Spirit. Grounded messages. That's what Spirit just told me. Grounded messages, like messages for grounding, more earth based ideas. An idea like a single acorn can start a wonderful forest. So, all of you people out there that you're into nature, like you're very grounded in nature, you find comfort in nature, or nature gives you comfort, you might like these cards. I'm very sorry that I can't tell you who made them, but I'm giving you a good look at them. So, if you happen to see them online, then you might want them. Now, the cards themselves are fairly small. I mean, that's basically what they look like. They're really, really tiny. Not too tiny though. Medium stiffness. They're not like flimsy. So I would have a much easier time working with these oracle cards than say the stack that I just showed you, just because they aren't too small and they aren't too incredibly thick, because my hands are tiny and have a hard time holding on to stuff sometimes, especially when it's slippery. I don't know why people who make tarot cards put the plastic backing on them. It's just, you're making it harder on the tarot readers. You know that. You're making cards for tarot readers, but you're not thinking of tarot readers and the shuffling and stuff. Or maybe you are, and you want to make something really pretty. So moving on to the next one. These strings on these bags sometimes. Is this the same deck? Are there two of the same? Let me look. No, they're different, but yet they are very similar. So like this is the backing of these cards. And again, oracle cards. I'm getting like, I don't know what energy I'm getting off of these, but let me show you some of the messages. Success, bloom wherever you are planted. These are feeling more like earth energy, earthbound cards to me. Change, as with the falling leaves, embrace change. You know, like there are different sized tarot decks. I've seen decks that are really, really tiny, and that can be helpful for anyone who wants to have the tarot with them, but you don't want a great big deck in your bag. There's no use looking for luck. It arrives at unexpected times. So this would be another oracle deck that it's saying, you know, like I should go the front of the line. I'm not like super excited about it, but it's like, yeah, I already feel comfortable with these oracle cards. Like there's a comfort level there. So I'm just going to go with that. Okay, what else do we have? We got like 4 or 5 decks still left. All right, so again, I'm making sure there's no naughty cards. Oh, I can't use them. The erotic tarot. Yeah, we got to put you away. Bye-bye. Sorry, YouTube would boop me on the nose if I used you, if I showed you. So that's a big no. But that's okay. We still got a few left. Okay, so like put the bag away. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use these. These are oracle cards, but they're so tiny and square. It's hard to hold on to them. But delays and setbacks in fulfilling your plans for a union, possibly because the other person does not show enough interest. Such condition, in fact, wants you to become someone else. Do you love yourself enough to seek a better treatment? So they're square cards. A little bit hard to hold on to. I'm sorry I don't know the author of these cards to give credit to them or point you in a direction if that's something that you guys might want to get. But I've given you a bit of a picture so you can have a good look at them. We're getting down to the last 3 or 4 here. Ooh, and here's another deck of oracle cards. Again, really small, really square, really thick. I can already see this is going to be a problem. Because look, they're so tiny, really tiny. Ah, and they're slipping all over the place. Oh, they're going like cards gone wild. So here's the back of the card with them sleeping with the devil, unable to release negativity. Are there any pictures on these cards? I thought I saw a picture. Huh. Maybe this is something different. Some of the cards I think have pictures. Delayed gratification, lack of control, falling off a cliff. So these are considered oracle cards, shadows of the future. This feels like a deck that's going to go more towards the back of the line. Like, I'll see you later. I'll see you when I see you. Not calling to me at all at this point in time. And this is going to be in a see you later pile. Or maybe if it doesn't call to me at all, if there's a message of I belong with somebody else, then that somebody else will get the cards. Oh, wait, there's actually more tarot decks than I thought still left. I just saw a couple hiding in the corner. Now, these are much bigger cards than the other two. These are definitely, are these tarot cards? Let me just look. The Maiden, Death Rebirth. I'm not quite sure about this deck. This could be a combination of the two. So there's no author, but the size of this deck, it is a big deck as far as length and width. But the illustrations are on point. You got the hero card. You've got faith. You've got youth. The Queen of Fire. Oh, look at that picture. Killing it. Journey. These might be considered oracle cards, like really big ones. Because there's no like suits. There's no major or minor arcana. But I like the look of them. Very strong energy with these cards. The All-Father, the King of Air. Intuition. Masculine. Oh, wait. Oh, those cards are stuck together. Sorry. The masculine and the feminine. These cards don't want to come apart from each other. Emotion and intellect. I love that. I love the fact that somebody made an oracle deck with that card. The emotion and intellect. Because there is such a thing as emotional intelligence as well as regular intelligence. Thought. So as you can see, like this really well done deck. Really well done. A lot of thought went into it with the illustrations. The cards themselves, like they're bigger than normal. They're longer than normal. Let me sit here and just try to shuffle them. They feel really, really stiff. Really stiff. So this might be a deck that they take some handling. Like you got to get used to handling them. They handle well, but it's just the size of the cards will kind of, if you got small hands, they will throw you off. So I can see this being a good deck for somebody. If you got bigger hands, you'll have no problem. If you got tiny hands like me, it's going to take some getting used to. So that's another deck that I received. Let me put that aside. Move on to the next one. Okay, this deck might be connected to the Fae book that I showed you earlier. So here's the back of the cards. Sorry, like as you can see, they're huge. They're absolutely huge. But here are some of the illustrations on the backs, like Orochi, boundaries. Then you've got grandmother's magic. Oh, I love that. Dream catcher. Dreaming your wisdom. The sovereign, gentle power. The blue lady, nothing is impossible. Wu Wang, wild pure heart. Fernia, clarity. Yeah, I think this deck has to do with the book that I showed you earlier. They're like the really big book. It's kind of feeling like that. But really beautiful deck. As far as how thick it is, not that thick. As far as the shuffling, like, can you shuffle easily? I would say if you have to shuffle these cards because of how wide they are and so big, you would have to do like a hand shuffle versus like putting a pile in each hand and like, shuffling them together like you normally would. But they do shuffle well. They're not sliding everywhere. There's enough firmness to where the cards hold on to each other. So like they do shuffle well. They do feel good. This is going to go, this particular deck is going to go more in the top / middle part of my learn list. Oh, and I love this card. Look, I love this, the listener. Gorgeous pictures. Oh, I can't get over how some people who make tarot cards, how wonderfully creative they are. And like the imagery is just on point. Okay, what else we got here? Now, there are some people that don't like regular tarot cards. The images, and sometimes they use things that look like player cards. So this is in another language. I don't know what the language is, but I did receive this. So some tarot cards can look like regular playing cards because some people use playing cards for tarot as well. So you've got something like that. You've got the fish. Again, I don't know how this is going to be used in my readings. If it's going to call to me. If it doesn't call to me, I will pass them on to someone else that might use this type of tarot. I mean, they are beautiful cards, but it's just a matter of them speaking to me and connecting with me. I'm just going to give it some time. I just got the cards, so it's like I'm not rushing anything. I might be doing some tarot readings, and then one of these decks calls to me and says, "Oh, by the way, hi, let's get to know each other better." So that is the tarot cards. Like it came in this package, like you would a deck of tarot cards. Again, something that I would never think to get online or through a metaphysical shop. If I saw these cards, I might pass right by them. But this is going to be a wonderful learning opportunity for me to open up my mind and don't be so narrow in the path. Just try out different things. Try out different decks that normally you would say no to, because they can be the greatest sources of information and insight. Just you're going to connect with them in a way you thought that you would never connect. Okay, so I don't know if this is what... There's 3 naughty decks. I'm just going to make sure that I'm looking at this one. Are there naughty pictures in here? I think I can show these cards. So I like this deck too, the Rog Rig Tarot. Hope I'm saying that right. So this is what the back looks like of these cards. And this is by Carl W. Is it Rohrig? I am so sorry if I am not saying the name correctly. So I'm looking carefully at the cards. You got the Knight of Cups. You've got the Moon card. I love that. That the illustrations are very clean, very simple. Oop. Is that a naughty card? No, it ain't. For a minute there, I thought it was. Oops. Abundance. So very clean, simple illustrations. Although I am spotting some naughty cards in here that I don't think YouTube would appreciate. But for those who might want this deck, I'm showing them anyway. Prince of Discs. Ruin. Prince of Swords. I love that picture. Very artistic. Worry. I'm not quite sure if these are, well, these are regular tarot cards, but it feels like a bit of oracle cards as well. Like they have an oracle card feel to them. Like I'm sure, I wish I could show you more of those cards, but again, YouTube, Daddy YouTube has something to say about that. We put these back in the bag, and there's one more deck. and I'm going to take a look at it and see if they can be shown. Are they YouTube friendly? I hope they're YouTube friendly. Please be YouTube friendly. Because when you guys are YouTube friendly, the more I can use you. Ooh. Oh, okay. Oh, I love these. You're like, Rose, stop talking and show us what you're talking about. I don't want. Is there a booklet here? There's no booklet. But very thick deck. Very thick. There are a couple naughty cards. They're in a different language, so I don't know what the language means, but as you can see, here's some of the illustrations. There definitely is regular tarot because you've got the swords already. But very gothic-y, kind of dark in image. You get the wolves with the swords. I believe that's the Queen of Swords right there. Oh, I love that. This deck has more of a masculine feel to it. It was very, very strong deck, very strong energy. This obviously is the Tower card. And I love the image of the tower. Very, very strong. This is, I guess, the Devil card. The Two of Pentacles. We got the Five of Pentacles. So the energy I'm getting off these cards is, it's not dark as in bad. It's just like dark, like that dark masculine energy. Very gothic-y, you know. But I'm loving the imagery already. It's very different. Let me just check them out as far as how easy they are to shuffle. Well, the card. Oh, uh-oh. Well, these cards are on kind of like, they're not too stiff. And they're kind of on the thin side. But they do fit easily in the hand, so that helps. Like when you've got thin cards like this, if you have a deck that's not too thick, it helps to hold on to them when they get too thick or they're too long. Like your fingers are struggling to hold on to the length of them so you can do a proper shuffle. Some of the decks that seem a bit difficult right now actually might get easier once I start to use them and break them in. Then the cards are a bit more worn and they won't be so slippery. So that's it for showing you guys the tarot decks. I'm sorry I can't show you all of them, but that's YouTube's fault. They're shutting it down. They're like, hey, no adult stuff, ma'am. No. So that's it, y'all. I hope you guys have enjoyed looking at all the different new decks. And let me know what you think in the comments. And if some of the decks that I've shown you here today are decks that you are thinking of maybe getting for yourself, or if that inspires you to get the different decks. And trust me on this one. Sometimes the decks that you see online that on first pass you would never consider buying, it's step outside the box and get a unusual deck or a deck with a theme and work with it, because it might actually call to you. It just may not call to you aesthetically, but the messages coming through might be valuable regardless. And if you're someone, you have a tarot deck, that you have it, it's beautiful, you like it as far as the way it looks, but the energy just isn't there. I think the best thing to do with a deck like that is to find someone that is a tarot reader, that the deck calls to them, and just let the tarot deck go to its proper home. Like pay it forward, like Tragically Delicious did with me. Like what you did for me tragically is that as a tarot reader, you have opened me up to new pathways to helping people. And with all these different decks, I can give many different messages to many different people. And I can't say thank you enough. But after getting all these decks, I've come to realize that, you just can't be deadlocked into just a Rider-Waite deck. Just open up to different oracle decks and tarot decks and just really unusual things that you might not aesthetically consider. Just open yourself up to more messages from spirit. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this tarot review. And let me know what you think in the comments. If I've inspired you to pick up the tarot, or some of the decks or things that you might want for yourselves, you might want to go looking, just let me know. And I hope this video finds you well, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other.